Good evening and welcome to ITV News. This is Friday night's calendar.
Good evening, and here are tonight's main stories.
We can stop there, we can uncover the plates, we can get rid of masks, and then we can drive off.
A Nazi-worshipping extremist from West Yorkshire is jailed for planning terror attacks.
You drafted and posted the rules. They included a uniform styled on that of the Nazi regime and possession of personal weapons.
Brogan Stewart from Tingley was part of a self-styled militant online trio that was targeting mosques and synagogues. Also tonight.
The North Nottinghamshire Ford made famous around the world and for the fresh efforts to stop scenes like these.
York Knights, Wembley winners.
More celebrations in York as the Knights join Rugby League's top flight for the first time.
I'll be here with your weekend forecast. Another cloudy day across the region today, but there is a change on the way as we head into the weekend. And
these boots are made for dancing, why country music's cool new image has seen class sizes surge.
Three men who idolised Hitler and saw themselves as being on the front line of an oncoming race war have been sentenced to a combined total of nearly 30 years in prison. The three Nazi sympathisers were planning terrorist attacks on mosques and synagogues.
The ringleader was Brogan Stewart from Leeds. He called himself the Führer and recruited the other two, creating an echo chamber online where they fuelled each other's violent racist aspirations.
Unbeknown to them, their group had been infiltrated by an undercover officer who arrested the trio before anyone was hurt. Adam Fowler was at Sheffield Crown Court today.
These three men believed a race war was coming. They idolised Hitler and mass killers who targeted black or Muslim communities. They armed themselves with more than 200 weapons. Brogan Stewart from Leeds was the leader of the online group, and together the men were sentenced to a combined total of nearly 30 years in prison.
When asked what the overall goal was, you, Brogan Stewart, said you had taken inspiration from the SS. You adopted the name Führer and made Blackheart Obergruppenführer. You, I find, were in charge of the group. You drafted and posted the rules. They included a uniform styled on that of the Nazi regime and possession of personal weapons.
The three men aren't even believed to have met in person before they appeared in the dock together. Yet today, they received a total of 29 years in prison combined, followed by another 23 years on licence. Brogan Stewart, the ringleader from Tingley in Leeds, received the longest sentence, 11 years in jail, followed by another 8 on licence. The walls of 25-year-old Stewart's bedroom sported a Nazi flag. He recruited others online and they began to hatch plans targeting synagogues and mosques. They specifically focused on the Al Amin Islamic Education Centre in Leeds. Stewart even recorded a voice note with his getaway plans.
Where that roundabout is, we can stop there, we can uncover the plates, we can get rid of masks, and then we can drive off.
Each of them had a crossbow. Stewart also had swords, masks and riot gear. Pizzetto acquired an illegal stun gun and Ringrose was convicted of manufacturing a 3D printed firearm. They were arrested on the 20th of February last year after their group was infiltrated by an undercover officer a month before.
That firearm, if discharged, would have killed somebody. That's a real significant step in their mindset in terms of their behaviour becoming a real world act. This group were taking their extreme racial prejudice, they were committing acts of terrorism, sharing documents that were useful for their terrorist acts, that were useful for furthering their ideology in a violent way, and that's when we acted.
The mosque they targeted is in Fabian Hamilton's constituency, who's welcomed today's sentences.
They deserve everything they got, frankly. This was the most appalling plan to kill, maim, injure, destroy property, destroy lives of people just because they didn't like the faith whether they were Jews or Muslims. It was just disgraceful, frankly.
This really reinforces the sense of fear, anxiety that Muslims constantly talk about, because there are still people who are not willing to accept the nature and scale of anti-Muslim hatred in our country. We live in one of the most tolerant countries in the world, but at the same time, this constant dehumanization, vilification of Muslims, marginalization of Muslims is breeding hatred.
Following the riots in Rotherham and across the country in August last year, a YouGov poll found that almost half of Britons believe that right-wing extremists are a major threat.
Now, because of a variety of crises that we've experienced, not least with COVID, then we had the Brexit vote, what we've seen is a rise in populist discourse and a rise in populist parties, not just in Britain but all over Europe, normalising what were considered fringe ideas. And some of this, especially combined with online algorithms and under-regulated social media, can mean that some people who are susceptible or vulnerable to being radicalised can become seduced by these ideologies.
Christopher Ringrose was jailed for 10 years and Marco Pizzetto for 8 by a judge who said she believed they all continued to adhere to their extreme right-wing ideology. The men showed no emotion and said nothing as they were sentenced and led away. Adam Fowler, ITV News, Sheffield.
In other news tonight, a waste firm has been fined nearly £2.5 million after one of its workers was crushed to death by a skip lorry in Bradford. A health and safety executive investigation uncovered CCTV footage that repeatedly showed staff walking around the Biffa waste transfer station and climbing over barriers rather than using the designated pedestrian routes. 57-year-old James Tiberi was struck by a reversing wagon and died from crush injuries from the rear wheels in August 2023. Biffa say they've carried out a review of the site and have made changes.
Now, an ancient Ford in Nottinghamshire, which closed for safety reasons after videos of cars getting stuck in it attracted millions of views online, could now be reopened. The crossing in Rufford became famous the world over, with crowds turning up to watch motorists struggle through the water.
Well, the County Council acknowledges it's a deeply divisive issue, but is looking at opening the Ford again and putting measures in to slow traffic down, as Peter Behan reports.
It looks peaceful enough at the moment, but it wasn't always like this. Once upon a time, taking on Rufford Ford was a spectator sport. And a dream for YouTubers and TikTokers.
Oh, that's a modification.
The authorities, though, weren't fans. Nottinghamshire Police said it was dangerous, and in December 2022, the County Council closed off the Ford to traffic. It was a sad day for these two YouTubers whose videos of cars getting stuck would get up to 1 million views.
It brings everybody together, friends and family, so people just come down for a great time, mostly at the weekend, just have a great time out.
Do you take any responsibility for the circus that this has become?
Absolutely none. Absolutely none. So I'm not responsible for somebody else's decisions. We certainly didn't encourage any bad driving or anything else. All we did was just showed what was happening here.
The closure was unpopular with some. Cars had to find another route, clogging up other roads in the area. There was a public consultation, and now Nottinghamshire County Council is proposing to open the Ford once more. The council's plan is to put in traffic calming measures which would keep speeds down to around 25 miles per hour. There'd also be CCTV cameras which would permanently keep an eye on the location and monitor water levels. The council told us opinions remain strongly polarised regarding the most appropriate course of action. We've listened to the community and taken a detailed evidence-based approach to finding a solution. One local resident who didn't want to speak on camera told me reopening the Ford would be a big mistake. She said there'd already been some near misses and feared a spectator could be hurt. Either way, Rufford Ford's fame now spreads far and wide. While we were filming, this family from Scotland who are holidaying nearby paid a visit.
I've seen it on YouTube. I watch Adam C and we see it on his channel. The fails What's so funny about this place?
All the cars getting stuck in it and stuff.
There will now be a second public consultation on reopening the Ford. For the time being, though, it will continue to be used just by a few locals. Peter Byrne, ITV News, Nottinghamshire.
I wonder what you think about that particular story. I'm sure you'll let us know. Now then, you're watching Calendar with Victoria and Ian, and still to come before 6:30.
We'll be looking ahead to the weekend's football, plus Doncaster's darts sensation Bo Greaves is set for a busy festive season.
Are we finally saying goodbye to the anticyclonic gloom as we head into the weekend? I will, of course, have your full forecast for the next few days.
And I'm at East Riddlesden Hall, which has been transformed in time for Diwali celebrations. Join me later in the programme.
But next to the Parkinson's disease patients who are fighting back against their symptoms by taking up boxing classes.
The 8-week programme at Chapel Allerton Hospital in Leeds helps improve patients' mobility and build confidence in managing daily activities.
Sally Simpson has been to find out more.
Well, this might look like an ordinary gym session, but it's actually a session with a difference. It's therapeutic boxing skills for patients with Parkinson's disease. Well, leading the course is Chris. He's one of the tutors over here. Let's go have a word with him and find out what it's all about. Chris, if I can just interrupt you for a second.
Yes.
Boxing and Parkinson's, not natural bedfellows, you might think.
No, and I think when we started this process, our association with Parkinson's was probably when you see Muhammad Ali at the end of his process, and quite a negative reaction. But ultimately, whether we're teaching kids to box, what we're teaching them is hand-eye coordination, balance, movement, and ultimately them same things is what we're bringing to the people here that are living with Parkinson's as well.
And how much progress can people expect to make in the 6 weeks?
Absolutely loads. One of the ladies in our group who hadn't danced for 40 years, I would argue has got the best footwork probably of any boxer in our gym, because it's almost like she's reignited all those memories, all those pathways that are in her brain, and the footwork and how she's come on as a person and her development. I think Parkinson's can be, the worst thing is it can be very isolating, and we've got now probably over 50 people that are with us 3 times a week. It's really excelled in terms of helping people with their confidence.
Chris, thanks very much. We'll go have a word with them and see how they're getting on. We've got a couple of sparring partners over here having a box. Ladies, if we could just interrupt you a second. What do you think of these classes? What are you getting from them?
Well, I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would, because I have never done anything like this before.
OK, well, keep up the good work. You seem to be doing a great job there. Over here, we've got more people with some strength training. If I can just come to you, sir, you look like you're working hard there. How are you finding it?
A bit out of breath.
Have you got a breath just to tell me what you're getting from these sessions?
Yeah, no, it's really good. I'm not finding myself very well coordinated on some of them, but I'm really enjoying doing them, giving all sorts of different things a try.
And as well as building up your strength, it's all about having fun, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. No, it's the Ali and the other people who run it are really good fun. So they make it. The hour goes very quickly. So
I'll leave you to carry on. These sessions will last for another 6 weeks, and it's hoped that all those taking part will soon be fighting fit.
Thanks very much to Sally Simpson there. Well, time for the sport proper now. And yesterday, Chris brought us news of Bradford's elevation back to Super League. But more good news today, Chris.
There was, Ian, yes, celebrations in York today as the Knights were also invited to dine at Rugby League's top table.
Powering local sport in the community. Octopus Energy sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
Yes, the York Knights Rugby League team will play in Super League next season for the very first time. The Knights, along with Toulouse, were chosen by a 7-strong panel to compete in an expanded 14-team competition. In the season just gone, York finished top of the second-tier championship and won the 1895 Cup. Their elevation to the top tier is the culmination of years of hard work by many at the club, including chairman Clint Goodchild.
I'm just really happy for the city. You know, there's generations and generations of fans and, you know, the staff that have been on the journey for, you know, over a decade. To get this opportunity to be on the big stage and do our region proud, it's a good one.
Thankfully, we've got the news that we wanted, and listen, I feel proud and privileged to be coaching York in Super League, but we're not going up there to make the numbers up. We want to compete, and you know, there's a lot of work to be done between now and the start of pre-season, and you know, we'll be doing everything we can to deliver a team for the City of York that they can be proud of in Super League.
I think they'll bring a great matchday experience. I think the city brings a number of attractions. I can see people coming and staying here for the weekend and making a weekend of it. So I think it'll bring a really positive matchday, and I think they'll bring some competition on field as well.
Well, congratulations to York. That's the Rugby League, Chris. On to football now, though, and there's some worrying news coming out of Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, Victoria, we're already well aware of the problems facing that club at the moment, aren't we? Late payments of wages, Football League embargoes, fan protests against the owner. Well, yesterday reports surfaced that Wednesday are set to be served with a winding up petition by HMRC for an unpaid £1 million tax bill. Owner Dave Chansiri is under serious pressure to sell the club, and supporters feel this might just force his arm.
Obviously, there's a long way to go yet. Mr. Chansiri can pay that bill at any time. The winding up procedure isn't straightforward, but what we're hoping is HMRC take that action, which I think will be early next week now. If Mr. Chansiri won't voluntarily go into administration, and that'll be the beginning of the end of his reign at Hillsborough.
Well, across the city, Sheffield United are doing their best to improve fortunes on the pitch. The Blades, who currently sit bottom of the Championship with just one win all season, have today signed Dutch international Jaro Riedewald on a short-term contract until January. The 29-year-old was available on a free transfer after leaving Belgian side Antwerp in the summer.
You know, I wouldn't have signed him if I didn't think we needed him, and we need some experience in there. I said last season I think we were the third youngest team in the division. I think we're either the youngest or the second youngest team. So we definitely need experience all over the group, and most certainly in that position.
Well, both Sheffield clubs back in action this weekend after the international break, and so are Leeds. They're at Burnley in the Premier League. Remember, both these teams were promoted from the Championship last season, so both will fancy the chances. Head coach Daniel Farke, though, insists it's far too early to consider it a must-win.
It's definitely not a must-win game. There's also just another opportunity for both teams to be there, and we're also traveling good spirits and know that if we are at our best, we have a chance to win points, and we prepare for this game also like in the same professional way like for all the other games, and I want to be competitive again.
Well, the weekend action actually kicked off last night, although Huddersfield fans probably wished it hadn't. It was all going well for the Terriers against Bolton when Leo Castledine put them ahead in the first half, and as the clock ticked past the 90-minute mark, they must have thought that was 3 points wrapped up. However, 2 Bolton goals in stoppage time turned the game on its head and probably turned the stomach of under-fire head coach Lee Grant as well.
About as sore as we can feel, about as angry and disappointed and upset as we can feel. Do I feel like the group were trying? Yes, I do. I feel like they wanted to win that game so badly that perhaps it affected the mentality and how we went about that second half, and therein lies the lesson for us as a group.
And finally from me, 21-year-old dart sensation Bo Greaves from Doncaster, who appears to be throwing a dart into my head, has earned a card to play on the PDC Tour. Now, Bo, who beat Luke Littler in the semi-finals of the World Youth Championships on Monday, will now play at the PDC World Darts Championships at Alexandra Palace later this year. Go Bo, eh?
Definitely. When's she coming in to see us? That's what I want to know.
Soon, hopefully. Bo, if you're watching, come in and see us. Anytime.
Great.
You're always welcome.
Brilliant. Thanks, Chris.
Welcome.
Thanks, Chris. I don't know if you've got some cowboy boots, but it might be time to dust them off.
Oh, of course I have.
The reason is that line dancing could be making a comeback as more young people are donning cowboy boots and hitting the dance floor.
Oh, you said young people. Some line dancing classes in our region have even become oversubscribed, with young members saying they enjoy the connection and sense of community the dance creates. Amrit Birdie can tell us more.
Lucinda Atkinson has taught line dancing in Selby Bridge for some time. Even though some of the moves are old school, her classes are attracting a much younger audience.
New people are contacting me all the time, wanting to join, because I teach in various different locations in around Halifax and Huddersfield and Queensbury as well. And I think it's probably because people like Beyonce and Dasha have done like country themed music, So there seems to be a whole wave of people that really enjoying country music, and I think they found line dancing on social media platforms.
It's easy to learn, so she makes it really easy to sit and it's just great each week coming back. And then when you do pick everything up and you start to put it together, and then you kind of look around you and everyone's doing the same thing, it's really, really cool.
I think that Beyonce has brought in the new sort of style, and I think a lot of the new younger ones know Beyonce more, so she's really set the trend again, I suppose, for the line dancing.
Young people getting together to dance is nothing new. But for a generation raised on the internet, it's thought that the real-life connections are what's most appealing.
Being together, dancing together, and it adds a new dimension to your social life. And it may be a way to interact with people that you wouldn't otherwise be interacting with, different generations, different walks of life. So it can be exciting and kind of offer new possibilities.
5, 6, 7, 8, tap, tap, kick, kick,
For those that regularly attend this LGBT line dancing event, it's not just about the steps, it's about belonging.
It's really nice to see adults learning something, and then particularly queer adults who kind of want the sense of community, and I think that's what brings people back.
You can come by yourself. Some people bring books, or they come to meet people, and you can make friends. You can just dance.
People are quite quick to sit around filming performers or on the dance floor doing Instagram stories, but when it's the line dancing, you don't really have the time to do that. You're just in the moment and with the crowd.
And there was even time for me to dust off a spangly cowboy hat and see what all the fuss is about.
Grapevine to the left heel, right heel, scoot it on down. Perfect! That's it! Perfect, you're a natural!
These young dancers are proving that community can still be built offline, one step at a time. Amrit Birdie, ITV News.
Yeehaw! Looks like great fun, doesn't it? Do you fancy that?
I think that's the calendar Christmas party sorted, don't you?
Perfect.
What about you, Keza? What do you think?
Well, whatever makes you happy is what I'd say. I've been known to cut a rug, so when you're relaxed. I don't know. You need look joyful, and anything we needed to bring joy today, didn't we? With all that cloud around, we had a lot of low cloud this morning, lifting to that horrible altus stratus cloud, that blanket cloud. Ugh. Here it is. That's what we've seen earlier on today, and then there's this lovely different type of cloud waiting in the west, and that's going to come to change things as we head into the weekend. But the autumn colours, you two are looking beautiful in your autumn hues.
Thank you very much.
Look gorgeous against the blue sky earlier on in the week. A big thank you to Bill for this one at Allerton Bywater, and also to Deb for this one at Harlow Car in Harrogate. But yes, no surprises that maybe many of us over the last few days have felt pretty miserable because we've had our quota of sunshine for the whole year already. So even if it was cloudy every day until the end of the year, we'd have had average sunshine. I was reminded today that you can have a phobia against clouds. I can't believe it. I love clouds. But nephophobia is the fear of clouds, and you can have different kinds of weather phobias. Can you think that there might be any others?
Cold, lightning.
How about this one? Astrophobia. I get it. Fear of thunder and lightning. And what about this one? Keonophobia.
Oh,
no idea.
No
You need to know Greek, really. It's the fear of snow.
Oh, who can be frightened of snow? It's amazing.
I know. Well, the good news is there's no snow in the forecast, but there might be a bit of rain, and there's definitely no thunder or lightning until Monday at the earliest, you guys.
Right, well, we'll wait to find out in a few minutes.
Okay.
Thanks, Kerry.
Yeah.
Now, finally, celebrations are taking place for Diwali this evening at East Riddleston Hall near Keighley after the National Trust partnered with the Bradford Hindu Council.
The 17th century manor house has been transformed with vibrant decorations and illuminated displays exploring Diwali traditions from Tamil, Punjabi, Bengali and Gujarati cultures.
Well, our reporter Amelia Beckett has been given a sneak preview.
Yes, welcome to East Riddlesden Hall, which has been totally transformed in time for Diwali, which of course is the celebration of lights, and don't we have a lot of those? And one of the people behind all of this is Deepak from the Bradford Hindu Council. Thank you for joining us, Deepak. Just firstly, just tell me more about Diwali and what it means.
So basically Diwali is celebrated nationally in India, and now it's been celebrated all around the world where everyone's just settled down. It basically, is the story behind it is the lights represent you becoming enlightened. So it'll make people realise that the world is a better place and we're here to help each other.
And here, obviously, everything's been decorated for that. Upstairs, we've got different rooms representing each part of India, don't we? Can you tell me a bit more about that?
So people culturally in different places may celebrate Diwali slightly differently. So I'm come from the north side, so I'm celebrating from the Punjab side of things. But then you've got the east, south, west side as well. So each room sort of kind of showcases here in the hall how we celebrate Diwali in India.
Give me one sort of little nugget about how you celebrate it.
So in the Punjab, we're very loud and out there. We will go out, we'll spend time with the family. We'll do the spiritual side of things, but it's good food, drink to a degree. But if you don't drink, you can have plenty of other stuff. But a lot of sweets, a lot of Indian sweets to do, and then just sharing presents with each other.
Sounds great. Thank you ever so much for sharing that
problem.
with us. We'll just cross over here to Joe, who's representing the hall here. Hi. What made you want to come up with this collaboration?
Well, our local community is absolutely central to everything we do at East Riddlesden. And in fact, the reason East Riddlesden Hall is still here is because two really persistent local brothers, the Briggs brothers, fought to save it from demolition. And so that local community thing has stayed as a golden thread through everything we do. And our local Hindu community have just been so generous with sharing their spirituality, their stories. Some of them have even loaned us some beautiful items in costume that they would normally celebrate Diwali with. And we thought, what more could we do than hand over East Riddlesden to our Hindu friends.
Oh, well, it looks fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing it with us and the public, which is open to all this evening. Diwali, of course, is on Monday.
Thanks very much to Amelia, and of course, happy Diwali if you are celebrating.
Now to the weather with Kerry.
Today's forecast: seafood and sugar cube towns. TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
Yes, it's been another day of disappointingly cloudy skies. So a big thank you for sharing your autumnal colour against those grey skies today. A big thank you to Steve for this one in Wakey, and also to Catherine for this one in Shipley. Starting to really look quite golden now. As we head through into the next couple of days, we swap our weather patterns. High pressure migrates to the east and low pressure takes charge. By Sunday, it's going to bring a spell of wet and windy weather. And then by Monday, really quite showery. Some of the showers could be heavy and thundery. Some blustery conditions, but thereafter there will be a mix of sunshine and showers. In a little bit more detail then, for the rest of tonight, we stay rather cloudy but mostly dry. The winds are fairly light, so a little bit of low cloud once more as we head through into tomorrow morning, but it should be a dry start and nothing too chilly, where there is any thinner cloud perhaps just dipping down into single figures. As we head into tomorrow, there are sun times as we head into the weekend, 7:39 and 3 minutes past 6. So expect a mostly dry start, but with quite a lot of cloud around. We're expecting it to certainly be brighter, at least for a window for a time into the afternoon, but the wind's picking up. So slightly brighter and breezier. Temperatures around average at 14, possibly 15 Celsius. And then we look to the west for the area of rain. It won't come towards us until Sunday morning, and it will fragment a little and become more showery, but there could be some heavy pulses, particularly by the time we reach the afternoon. So a wet and windy spell, those heavy showers potentially on Monday, but definitely some sunny spells in between our showers as the week wears on.
TUI sponsors ITV Yorkshire Weather.
There you go, that's your weekend forecast.
Thank goodness we're getting rid of that gloom.
I know, I can't, I'm not for it. No phobia, but I feel a little bit allergic to that kind of cloud.
Great. Well, look, thanks very much for being with us this week. We'll see you again on Monday. Have a great weekend. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye, take care.